Kolkata, the city of joy, found itself cloaked in a pall of fear on August 9, 2024. The vibrant city, known for its lively streets and bustling markets, was suddenly shrouded in an eerie silence. A young trainee doctor, her bright future ahead, vanished from the bustling corridors of RG Carr Medical College and Hospital. The institution, usually a place of healing and hope, now stood as a silent witness to a troubling mystery. The air grew thick with unease, the city holding its breath as whispers of the missing doctor spread like wildfire. Conversations in hushed tones filled the streets, each person adding their own speculations and fears to the growing tension. The victim, a dedicated and promising medical professional, was last seen leaving the women's dormitory on a routine night shift. Her steps, once confident and purposeful, now seemed to echo with a foreboding sense of finality. Her colleagues, friends, and family clung to hope, desperately searching for any sign, any clue of her whereabouts. They scoured every corner of the hospital, their faces etched with worry and determination. A collective sense of dread began to creep in, fueled by the silence surrounding her disappearance. The once familiar corridors now seemed to twist and turn into a maze of uncertainty and fear. The hospital, a beacon of hope for so many, transformed into a labyrinth of unanswered questions. Its imposing facade, usually a symbol of care and compassion, now loomed ominously against the night sky. Its sterile walls now seemed to whisper tales of darkness lurking within. Every shadow, every flicker of light seemed to hide secrets that no one dared to uncover. The city, known for its vibrant spirit, held its breath, united in fear and anticipation. The usual hustle and bustle of Kolkata's streets was replaced by an uneasy stillness, as if the city itself was mourning the loss of one of its own. As the hours ticked by, the hope dwindled, replaced by a gnawing fear that something sinister had transpired within the hospital walls. The relentless ticking of the clock served as a grim reminder of the time slipping away, each second deepening the sense of dread. The city waited, praying for a miracle, yet bracing itself for the heartbreaking truth that lay hidden. In every corner, in every heart, there was a silent plea for her safe return, a hope that refused to be extinguished despite the growing darkness. The discovery sent shockwaves through Kolkata, a city that had seen its share of tragedies, but nothing quite like this. The young doctor's lifeless body, bearing the horrific marks of brutality, was found in a secluded seminar room within the hospital premises. It was a place meant for learning and growth, now tainted by an unspeakable act of violence. The news spread like wildfire, igniting a firestorm of grief, anger, and disbelief. People couldn't fathom how such a heinous crime could occur in a place dedicated to saving lives. The sanctity of a medical institution, a place dedicated to healing, had been violated in the most heinous way. The hospital, once a beacon of hope, now stood as a grim reminder of the fragility of safety. The city, once united in hope, was now bound by a shared sense of horror and outrage. The streets, usually bustling with life, were now filled with silent protests and candlelight vigils. The brutal nature of the crime, the sheer audacity of it, left everyone reeling. Families clung to each other, trying to make sense of the senseless. Protests erupted across the city, a collective cry for justice echoing from the streets. The air was thick with anger and sorrow, as people demanded answers and accountability. Students, doctors, ordinary citizens, all demanded answers. The medical community in particular was shaken to its core, standing in solidarity with the fallen doctor. The case, now splashed across national headlines, became a chilling reminder of the vulnerability of women in a society grappling with its demons. The media coverage brought the issue to the forefront, sparking nationwide debates. The young doctor's dreams, her aspirations, her life, all brutally extinguished. Her smile, once a symbol of hope and dedication, now a haunting memory. The city mourned, its collective conscience shaken to the core. Vigils were held, tears were shed, and a promise was made. Her death would not be forgotten. The demand for justice was deafening, a promise whispered on the wind, her death would not be in vain. The city vowed to fight for her, to ensure that such a tragedy would never happen again. The Central Bureau of Investigation, CBI, took over the investigation, their every move scrutinized by a nation baying for answers. The pressure was immense, the need for swift justice palpable. Yet, the investigation seemed to hit roadblock after roadblock, each dead end deepening the mystery. Forensic teams combed the scene, desperately searching for clues. CCTV footage was analyzed, witnesses interrogated, alibis checked and rechecked. But the perpetrator, shrouded in a veil of calculated anonymity, remained elusive. Days turned into weeks, the lack of concrete leads amplifying the public's frustration. Theories abounded, whispered in hushed tones, each more chilling than the last. The investigation, however, seemed to be a ship lost at sea, tossed about by the waves of speculation but making little headway. The city watched, waited, and prayed. The family grieved, their pain etched on their faces, their hopes pinned on the CBI unraveling the truth. The weight of expectation hung heavy, a constant reminder of the justice that seemed so agonizingly out of reach. Shadows of doubt. The interrogation of Dr. Sandip Ghosh. The investigation took a sharp turn when Dr. Sandip Ghosh, a senior doctor at the hospital, was brought in for questioning. Whispers about his alleged involvement had been circulating, fueled by rumors of a past disciplinary action against him concerning inappropriate behavior towards female colleagues. Dr. Ghosh, a well-respected figure in the medical community, vehemently denied any involvement in the crime. His interrogation, however, revealed inconsistencies in his alibi, casting a long shadow of suspicion. While the CBI remained tight-lipped about the details, leaks from the investigation hinted at a possible motive, a desperate attempt to silence the victim who may have threatened to expose Dr. Ghosh's past misconduct. The city held its breath, the accusations against a man once considered a pillar of the medical community sending shockwaves through Kolkata. Was this the break the CBI needed? Or was Dr. Ghosh merely a convenient scapegoat in a case riddled with complexities? Broken trust, systemic failures, and security lapses. As the investigation dragged on, a disturbing picture began to emerge. The gruesome murder was not just a case of individual depravity, but a chilling testament to the systemic failures and security lapses that plagued the institution. The hospital, entrusted with the well-being of countless lives, seemed worryingly ill-equipped to ensure the safety of its own staff. Inadequate lighting in corridors, malfunctioning CCTV cameras, and a lax security system painted a grim picture of negligence. The investigation revealed a culture of silence, where complaints about harassment and safety concerns were often ignored or brushed aside. The young doctor's tragic end exposed the vulnerabilities faced by women in a system that failed to protect them. The case became a harsh indictment of the very institution that should have been a sanctuary. The broken trust, the shattered sense of security, reverberated far beyond the hospital walls, shaking the very foundation of a system that had failed so spectacularly. A nation's shame women's safety in the balance. The brutal murder at RG Kar Medical College and Hospital transcended the boundaries of a single crime, becoming a chilling reflection of the precarious state of women's safety in India. This incident was not just an isolated event, but a glaring symptom of a much larger, deeply entrenched problem that has plagued the nation for decades. It laid bare the deep-rooted societal biases, the systemic apathy, and the normalization of violence that women face on a daily basis. The pervasive culture of silence and victim blaming only exacerbates the issue, making it even more difficult for women to seek justice and protection. The case sparked nationwide protests, reigniting the debate on women's safety in public spaces. People from all walks of life came together, united in their demand for change, for stricter laws, and for better enforcement of existing regulations. The outpouring of anger and grief underscored the collective frustration of a nation grappling with its demons. The vigils and protests were not just about one woman. They were about every woman who has ever felt unsafe, unheard, and unprotected. The statistics were stark, the stories heartbreaking. India was failing its daughters. Each missing poster, each data point on the graph, represented a life disrupted, a family shattered, and a society that had turned a blind eye for far too long. From streets to workplaces, homes to public transport, women in India navigated a minefield of fear. The constant vigilance, the need to always look over one's shoulder, and the ever-present anxiety were a daily reality for millions. The case served as a grim reminder that even the supposed sanctity of a hospital was not immune to the pervasive threat of violence. It highlighted the urgent need for comprehensive measures to ensure safety in all spaces, including those that are meant to be safe havens. The young doctor's murder became a symbol of a larger battle, a fight not just for justice in her case, but for a fundamental shift in the way society perceived and addressed the issue of women's safety. It was a call for systemic change, for a society where women could live without fear. It was a call to action, a demand for a safer India for every woman, every girl. The movement that arose from this tragedy was a beacon of hope, a testament to the resilience and strength of women who refused to be silenced. It was a reminder that change is possible, but it requires collective effort and unwavering commitment.